I've had an opportunity to make, quite a bit of money, but I just wasn't going to do it at the expense of sacrificing time with my children.
Thing besides money, what do you want them to inherit?
I want them to be able to express themselves in
Mm.
a healthy way. I want them to be able to be assertive in their relationships, not only their friendships, but their romantic relationships.
All right, family. Listen, we're here for another interview. This is our first virtual interview, and I got a good brother of mine, Vince, um, and he's gonna chop it up with us a little bit today. So I kind of gave it away already, but tell us your full name, man.
Vince Ford, I guess affectionately, I'm Vincent Ford the second. So,
Okay,
speaking of
okay,
fatherhood,
okay.
I'm named after my dad. So,
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. So there's some history there. There's some, longevity there when it comes to that Ford name. I love it. So how many kids you got, man?
three boys.
Wow, 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 wow. A lot of testosterone going on in the house, right?
Yeah, yeah, to say the least.
Right, right. So what are their ages, man? Where do they land?
So I have one 17. He's a freshman in college. I have a
Okay.
12-year-old who's going to the seventh grade, and then I
Okay.
have a 8-year-old who will be going into the third grade in the fall.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. So you having a little fun this summer. I got you with the boys at the house. So what do you do? What do you do, man?
Yeah,
As
so
occupation.
yeah, my occupation, I'm a minister here at the Church of Christ at Genesee Avenue. I've been
Okay.
in this pastoral role here for 8 years, but in totality, I've been doing this for over 15 years.
Wow, wow, wow. In ministry for 15 years. That's got to come with some challenges and some responsibility, some pretty big responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's one of those things where I have to be really cognizant of ensuring that my family is prioritized.
I can imagine. I can imagine. All right, Vince. So my first question for you, man. What do you believe fathers bring to the world that can't be replaced? Like it's kind of a lofty question, but what do you think fathers bring to the world that can't be replaced?
Man, that is a great question. Honestly, I believe fathers bring a faithfulness to legacy that can't be replaced. Like that you
Mm,
can't, I don't believe you can find it anywhere else.
okay.
Just when I think about my role as a father, my purpose as a father,
Yeah.
there's a sense of generational impact that
Mm.
exists, right? There's
Oh
still,
man.
my grandfather, my dad's dad, he next year it will have been 20 years since he passed away. But there's
Wow.
still a number of things, a lot of ways that I govern my life that are reflective of him. And
Mm.
again, 2 decades gone, but even still, those principles instilled in me are still
Living
getting a
on.
return on investment on a daily basis. I just think that faithfulness,
Yeah.
to the transcendence of whatever your legacy is, good, bad,
Mhm.
or indifferent, man. I think that's one thing as a father. It just, it doesn't die with you.
Wow.
No matter what type of dad you are, the
Yeah.
type of dad you are doesn't die with you. And I think that it just can't be replaced. Like your legacy, your faithfulness, your input on your children's life cannot be replaced.
Man, that's phenomenal, man, because it makes me think about and what I hear you saying is, there's so much effect that we have as fathers, good or bad, that we have to be really, really cognizant of that responsibility. That's what I hear coming from you, man. So that's amazing. So next question for you. What is along those lines, what is one sacrifice that you've made for your children that they probably, they won't fully understand, like a sacrifice for your children when we're talking about this legacy and things that, because like you said, your grandfather or your father, you feel those effects, there's things that's been passed down, but, a lot of times we don't see them. We don't see them as children. Maybe we get that glimpse when we become adults, but what's one thing you think on your side for your kids that you think they won't quite fully understand, or maybe not yet?
Yeah, man. I would say I've valued time over money.
Mm,
I've had an opportunity to make, quite a bit of money, but I just wasn't going to do it at the expense of sacrificing time with my children.
wow.
Um,
Wow.
my job already requires me to not be here all the time. Um,
Mm,
whether that's, I'm preaching somewhere or, I've got an engagement somewhere or I got to travel. Um, you know, and ministry has expanded past geographical bounds for me. So, sometimes a funeral may be in another state or, a revival or some sort of friends and family day. So I'm already on the road a lot. And in 2022, I had, you know, I was chosen for a position with the city. And I was doing very, very well in conjunction with what I was doing at the church, right here, all in the same community.
right.
Uh, but but I had to make a very, very tough decision, to
Mm,
really walk away from that. And it was doing well. It was providing, man. It was
right.
nice.
So we was
Uh,
doing good. But what
right.
does
But it
doing
was at
good
the
mean, right? Yeah.
right. It was at the
Mm,
detriment of my children because I wasn't able to spend a lot
mm,
of time with them. And I
yeah,
think now, like, it's tough, right? Because kids want things, right? They want,
absolutely.
the shoes, the clothes, and all those things. And so now
Yeah.
it's like the conversation's a little bit different, but the time is there. So there's things that like I'm really seeing, even with my oldest son being in
Right.
college, like the relationship that we have today. I don't
Mm,
think it would have been there had I not said back in 2024, like, I'm not doing this.
wow.
And I was able to really be there more in these coming days than I had been those the first part of their lives. So time over money,
That's
man.
yeah, time over money, man. That's you took the words right out of my mouth. Because I think there's a lot of times um we try to equate, as men, we might equate, you know, that providing money with the providing of the time. And sometimes, you gotta make that sacrifice. I love that, man. I love that.
Yes,
So
sir.
so, how has fatherhood changed the way you see your own father? Like, obviously we have a lot of we have a lot of that when we're adolescents. We're like, man, my dad, my dad, my dad. But then when we become fathers, we're like, I get it. I get it. So for yourself, how has fatherhood changed the way you've seen your own father?
Man, all right. So I was telling my son this, my oldest son,
Mhm.
because I was looking at him and I was like, man, he's 17. Um, and I said, the epiphany hit me like he's 17. And so in 7 years, based on everything that I've taught him,
Right.
right? Do I see him as a father? Because
Wow. Wow.
because at
Yeah.
because at 24,
Hmm.
because at 24, 23, 24, I was a dad. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm like, man, then I thought about my dad. And my
right.
dad, 25, my dad was a dad, right?
He was a dad on time.
You,
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So it was like,
right.
so it began to, in my own father, I was like, man, thinking about who I was at 24, thinking about who my son is at 17, and
Right.
thinking about who my dad is today, it helped me see the humanity in him.
Mm,
Because for a long time, I harbored a lot of resentment. I harbored a lot of frustration.
right.
Just because, I mean, I'm a product of a single parent home. Like
Yeah,
my parents were
yeah,
divorced, right? So in my formative years, so when I was
sure.
12, that's when my parents split. So like
Right.
for me, it's like even beyond the resentment that I harbored for that decision, I also have gained a higher level of respect for my dad because I'm like,
Mm,
yo, Um, yeah, like I'm thinking like
Wow.
I'm thinking about how I felt at 25, thinking about how I felt at 26. And I'm
Right.
like thinking about him, you know what I mean? Even now, he's 65, right? But just now I'm able to see the humanity in him, and it just
That's
makes a little
powerful.
bit more sense, man. Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful, man, because I think a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. And, you're not alone in that. I didn't meet my biological father till I was 28.
Oh
So,
wow.
it's one of those things where, but I had a amazing father who raised me along with my mom. And, it's one of those things where you don't, you, it's not about harboring, but it's
Hmm.
also, sometimes it's about, you don't know what life, looked like for them at that time. Like you said, that whole, 24 ain't the same 24 back in, let's say, like the 50s or the 60s or something like that. We don't grow up as fast as maybe that age group had to. So, man, that's powerful. You really making me kind of go through the Rolodex of what we should be emulating to try to make, that fatherhood thing really means something, right? Really, really means something. So when you're looking at fatherhood, what do you want? What do you want your kids to inherit from you besides money and that kind of thing? Besides money, what do you want them to inherit from
Hmm.
you, from dad?
Man, I want them to inherit integrity,
Mm, mm,
um, a high sense of devotion to God,
yeah,
faithfulness,
right.
perseverance,
Oh,
and emotional intelligence. Uh,
mm, mm.
yeah,
Speak to me about that emotional intelligence because there's a lot of times it's almost a buzzword now, right? But speak
yeah,
to me
yeah.
about that. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? Mm,
Um, and have and develop a sense of safety with their companions
yeah.
through being assertive,
Mm,
um, and have and develop a sense of safety with their companions
yeah.
through being assertive, right? Like
Yeah.
I say that all the time. Like I talk to my son, and we talk about those things, like being honest, being truthful.
Yeah.
Hey man, like if you don't like something, if he's
Say it.
17, but he's
Say that thing.
it's the girls, man. I be telling them like, hey, number one, man, hey, listen, number one, you need to have some discipline. You need to have some discipline as you move forward in life. You need to have some discipline with these women, right?
Right.
You also need to be able to communicate with them effectively without disparaging them or talking down to them,
Yeah.
and being assertive, man, like being assertive about your feelings.
Right.
Because I didn't learn that till I was 32, right? So I would just
Listen.
shut down and try to work it out in my head. And then like,
Right.
all right, yeah, I got it, I figured it out. But what I didn't realize is that reclusiveness wasn't helping those around me, right?
Wow.
So
Wow.
so
Yeah.
I want my boys to understand like, hey, you need to learn how to express your emotions. Not
Yeah.
just I don't feel like talking and not just I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm upset. Nah, bro.
Right.
Like I'm frustrated because blank.
Because of X. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Be able to speak
speak
your piece. Yeah.
speak your piece. And
Yeah.
if you can do that, not only will you attract the right people that will provide safety, emotional safety for you, but you will also be able to diagnose who are the people that you need to stay away from, who who
Mm.
don't who don't hold your emotions in high regard. You know
Right.
what? And so those are the biggest things, man. And I say this to my kids all the time, like I'm raising y'all to be thinkers, right?
Yes.
Thinkers. Like I want
Yes.
you to be able to think critically through every decision that you make, not to
Yes.
be
Yes.
paralyzed by indecision, but
Right.
like, ah man, like should I do this?
Right.
Like in real time. So my son, in college, he wanted to make a big purchase.
Right.
And I'm sitting here watching him go through the myriad of emotions on this decision.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna see what he gonna do.
Okay.
I'm just sitting back watching, right? Because
Hmm.
I had told him I was like, I put 200 on it. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
right.
Really,
You'll put a
really,
little
I was
something on it.
really I was prepared to do. I was prepared to do three, but I wanted to see how he.
Let's see what we gonna say.
So
Yeah.
he man, he went through it, bro. And I was getting frustrated because I had to take it to different stores. But he really priced it out. Like he looked on Amazon. We went to
Mm,
three different stores, and he was like, "Dad, I think this is the best decision." And I was happy about it because he didn't make any irrational, rash decisions. Like
mm.
he really went through it. Like, all right,
Went through the process.
right,
Yeah.
this is what it costs. And as a man, right, as a father, you got to do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You gotta really do that with pretty much almost every decision you make. You
Everything
gotta be
you
like,
make.
man,
Yeah.
what's gonna be the best? What's gonna be the best option for my family
Right.
in this moment? Like, I want this,
But do I need it, or is
but
it
do I
going to be
need it?
hot?
Or maybe I gotta
Yeah.
wait a week, or maybe I gotta go buy it over here. So seeing him work through that decision, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He gonna be all
Man.
right. So then when he decided to buy it, I said, hey, I'm gonna put 300 on it. He was like, for real? I was like, yeah, man, I
Because I
got you.
like your decision making, and I
Right.
love it, man. Because you're building him. It's like I've heard it said, and I kind of live by this too. It's like, you know, allowing your children to fail in a controlled environment. And that's
Hmm.
what you were providing for him, man, because you were watching him go through that decision making, and also you were allowing him to reason within himself. That's what I hear you saying, man. Like being able to reason within yourself when it comes to the good and the bad. So, man, I love it. That's powerful. All right, man. I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, man. Last question for you. So, when it comes to um, you know, giving back to your kids and, wanting them to leave something with them, God forbid something happens to you today.
Hmm.
And, what's one thing that you want your kids to remember, your boys to remember about dad?
Man, that dad, that dad was tough and he was a provider, but he was also a place of comfort.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
I'm very adamant about hugging my boys, right?
yeah,
Like, nah, man, let's talk through these emotions.
right.
Why you feel like that?
Yeah,
Right? Like I'm tough though. Like I don't want to hear no excuses.
right.
I want you to hold yourself accountable, but also like it's okay to cry. It's it's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel a certain way about heartbreak, right? Like you are a
Yeah,
human being. You're not a robot. So
absolutely.
I want them to know that like emotional safety, comfort, and nurturing can also come from, as a man, you can provide those things too. Because I think a lot of times as men, like we've been conditioned, yeah, let's be that nurturer for our daughters. Let's be that nurturer for the women. Let's be soft for them. But then when it's like the boys, like we be rah rah, and then
Right.
we wonder why we have these emotionally unstable men in society
Talk
who
about it.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So for
yeah.
me, like I want them to know that, hey man, and I also want them to know too that bro, like you could go out there, you could get it, you could achieve your dreams, right? Like man, like I went to Africa last year, you know what I'm saying? Like
Wow.
at 38,
Wow.
I went to Africa, bro, and I was like, I did it because I wanted to show my boys, like, hey,
Mm,
even with a family, even with jobs and all of those things, bro, you could pursue dreams. Like that
wow.
had always been a dream of mine, man, to go to Ghana, to do those things. And like I'm showing them like even in the midst of all those things that you can still achieve your dreams. And just because you're a dad,
Mm,
just because you're a husband, doesn't mean you get to stop pursuing your dreams. You may
right.
have to go about it a little different, right?
Sure, sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of doing 10, you might have to do two, right? But you
Right. Right.
you making a progressive step towards your dreams, and so in the grand scheme of thing, man, just I want them to know that hey, you could achieve your dreams, man, you can also be an emotionally safe space for people.
Wow.
You could be a
Wow.
comforter, you could be a nurturer, but you also can work hard and you could provide. You could do all of those things. Like we talk about intersectionality as it pertains to women, but
Yep.
there's an intersectionality as a black man too, that
100%.
is always discussed,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So that's what I would say.
Man, listen, Vince, I appreciate you, man. You dropped a whole lot of wisdom there, man. And I don't, I hope the people was listening. Listen, y'all, this is interview 21. This is our first virtual interview. So y'all stay tuned. If y'all want more content like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back at y'all with another interview coming soon. Peace.